Hey, I'm Colin from Blackjack Apprenticeship, and I'm here with my friend David, also known as Loud and Often, and we're talking about blackjack strategies. And today we're going to talk about what I would call the follow your heart card counter. And we're going to talk about what this is, what it means for their advantage, and how it works out in the casino. For those who don't know, David and I, we have been professional blackjack players for roughly 15 years, and we've played on teams together. And there was one player on our team named Mark, and he liked to joke that when he had a tough decision, he would follow his heart. He'd say, well, I don't know, 16 against a 10, I just follow my heart. And the reason it's a joke is because that's not how we trained our players to play. But there are a lot of card counters out there that they know about card counting. They might even be very good. Actually, I remember one of the first card counters I ever bumped into at a casino. This is down in Tukwila. And he was a faster card counter than me. He could keep the count faster than me. And I said, hey, what's your bet spread? And he said, well, I count, but that stuff doesn't really work. So I just use my own system to bet. Is that going to work over the long haul?
I don't think so.
Oh, why? I mean,
the math is there. The math says that's not going to last.
So, I mean, let's even step back and say, does card counting work every hand?
Well, no. I understand the instinct to feel like this is going my way or this is not going my way, but you have to trust the math, and that's sometimes hard to do.
Have you ever had one of those sessions? I know you have.
Yeah.
Where you're just losing hand after hand after hand. And I get emails from people saying, I watched your videos and I tried it and it didn't work. Card counting didn't work. And I remember one guy saying, I'm losing more counting cards than I was. I'm going to go back to my old system. Mm-hmm. Well, what would you say to that guy?
Well, you're not trusting the math. Anything is possible in the short term, so it might feel a certain way, but over the long haul, the math bears out.
The bottom line is card counting is a system that works over many hours, and there's no way to avoid losses as a card counter and only have wins. It's a system that built into it, there are wins and losses, but if you play perfect basic strategy, perfect counting, perfect betting, perfect deviations, the math is on your side and you are guaranteed with good bankroll management a profit. How much have you won over the years?
Close to $1 million?
Yeah, roughly $1 million. I've won about 600,000. Has it been by, not playing with lucky dealers?
No.
Has it been by quitting while you're ahead?
No.
Has it been by just following your gut?
No.
How's it been? How have you won that money?
I've followed the math and made the correct decisions. And in those tough moments when I feel like, oh, I know I'm going to lose this hand, I trust the math and let it take charge of my fate.
So I remember we do these blackjack boot camp. You might remember this guy. I remember I was doing my first kind of intro discussion of having a system, following this system. And he interrupts me. He said, Colin, what do you do if the dealer wins 3 hands in a row? Do you get up and leave? And I said, well, is it a positive running count or positive true count? And he says, yes. I say, no, I keep playing. He said, well, Colin, what if the dealer wins 10 hands in a row? Do you then leave that table? And I said, well, is it still a positive true count? And he says, yes. I said, well, then I'm going to keep playing. Well, Colin, what if the dealer wins 20 hands in a row? And what he wasn't understanding is the math is the math.
The cards don't know those 3 hands were winners or losers.
Exactly. The cards have no memory, and you can't guess at what the cards are going to do. All you can do is play the odds. A card counter plays the odds 100% of the time, doesn't make up their own systems or their own odds. They follow the pure math of the game, and that's what we've done successfully. So let me give a little math to back up what I've been saying. So the average blackjack player plays with about a 2 to 3% disadvantage as opposed to a basic strategy player. So they're going to be losing 4 to 6 times more money. Even if you're counting cards, you cannot overcome that. The only way to beat the casino with card counting is to play perfectly. And if you want to feel like you have some control over the game by not betting properly or not playing properly at times, by all means do it. Just know it's going to cost you so much. You aren't going to beat that game if you do not follow the system perfectly. Let's give a few examples of what this actually might look like at the tables. What's one example of, kind of the card-carrying gambler?
Seeing a bunch of small cards and figuring that's enough information.
Yeah, so you might call that micro counting, which is like, oh, a bunch of small cards came out, and I don't know the exact running and true count, but some small cards came out, so I bet that's not going to be enough to beat the game. Another might be that you do know the proper running count, but you don't want to bet properly because you might lose or because you're on a heater or anything like that. What else?
Not making the correct decisions for whatever reason.
Yeah, even if you are a perfect card counter, if you don't follow basic strategy and the proper playing deviations, you're not going to beat the game. So basically anything except for the system that has been tried and true, proven through math, logic, and anecdotally.
Computers?
Oh, yeah. Trust the computers. Trust the people who've done it. And this isn't a system we made up. I'm not that smart. This is a system that we followed. I read a book by Stanford Wong. I read books by Don Schlesinger and Ian Anderson. And I followed the system that they laid out because it's based on math, logic, and reality. So that's what we teach at Blackjack Apprenticeship. If you want to learn how to actually beat the game, that's what we're all about. You can subscribe to our channel, or you could go through our card counting mini course that will show you how to think like a card counter, play like a card counter, and beat the casino for real money like David and I.